This is one I wanted to talk about for a little while now because in July, the Hurricanes posted a photo of the Stanley Cup engraving once it was done. And let's be honest, a lot of people were furious, and myself included. I had some pretty mixed feelings about it, but you remember exactly what I'm talking about as a Hurricanes fan. The first two lines before Rod, before Tulski, before any of the single players who bled for this thing, we had Tom Dundon, which is appropriate. And then we had his wife and we had his five kids. So there were seven family members' names at the top of the most sacred trophy in sports and the hardest to win. And none of them besides Tom holds any real role in the franchise, right? So the internet did what the internet's going to do. And the fan base, the rest of the NHL fan base did what they did. A lot of Hurricanes fans reached out too, pretty upset about what that was. And people were upset that the owner's family taking up the first two rows was didn't jive at all with what the Hurricanes franchise was. ESPN even ran a story calling the whole thing embarrassing for the franchise, right? We all had to kind of live through that. We didn't like it, right? And the team said they wouldn't be commenting, and as far as I know, so far we haven't as a franchise. So now, look, I'm not here to rehash that at all. I don't think it was a great look for us at the time, and that stinks because this is a franchise that I know we all take a lot of pride in. And there was even a time when like another owner had done it and they made him cross his father's name off the cup because he had no role with the team. But here's the thing that I want to say: 2 months later, and something that I think all of us Caniacs can be really proud of at this point. If you're worried about what that engraving part told the world about the Hurricanes, we can stop worrying, in my opinion. Because while everybody was arguing about the top two lines, the cup itself started to go on tour with our guys. And the people whose names were actually on it and won it showed everybody what the character of this organization is all about. So I was following along, as I'm sure you were, of all the social media posts and things of where people were taking the cup. Let's look at that for a sec. Jordan Staal, our captain, the Conn Smythe winner, took it home to Thunder Bay and walked into a pediatric unit and the childhood cancer clinic. The kids had drawn Hurricanes logos and a picture of Stahl holding the cup, and he stood next to their drawings holding the real one and brought it to bring joy to them. Sean Walker took it to the pediatric oncology clinic at Southlake in Ontario. Two kids held up a homemade sign thanking him for coming. Then he went to a rink he grew up in and ended the day eating ice cream out of the cup with his family at a local dairy stand. Right? Just the humanity of that. Seth Jarvis also brought it to a children's hospital in Winnipeg. And he said afterwards, he said it's cool, the power that that thing had and what it can do for people. And he said those kids were going through tough times and anything he could do to brighten their day and see them smile was amazing. Right? Logan Stankoven did a hospital in his hometown. Svechnikov couldn't bring the cup to Russia, so he kept it there. And what did he do? He went to UNC Children's Hospital. Even Tulski took it and brought it to a hospital on Father's Day to spend it with brand new dads and so they could see it. And so back home, the Hurricanes Foundation put tens of thousands of dollars into making a Canes themed hospital gown for kids at UNC, Duke, ECU Children's Hospital. Because when you're a kid in the hospital, you don't get to choose much. And now thousands of them got to wear the Canes stuff. All right. So none of that was required. And every one of those guys gets one day with that cup that they bleed and spend their whole career earning. And you can take it anywhere on earth. And many of them kept choosing to take it to brighten other people's days and to, really share that moment with people who needed it. And then there's Eric Robinson's day, right? And I need you to know this story because it's one of the best things any Hurricane did. If you don't know, Robinson grew up in South Jersey at a rink called Hollydale. He learned to skate there under a coach named Guy Gaudreau. And he grew up along Guy's two sons. You know who they are, Johnny and Matthew. They were the Hollydale boys, high school teammates. They stood at each other's weddings. Robinson and Johnny, I think, even crossed over and played together a bit in the NHL. You know the story. Absolute tragedy. Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau were killed by a drunk driver while riding their bikes. You know this. We know that, right? This August, Eric Robinson got his day with the Stanley Cup. First player from the whole region of South Jersey to ever get his name on it. And he took it back to the Gaudreaus, to the rink that was named now after the Gaudreaus, where photos of Johnny and Matthew hang on the walls. Several hundred people showed up, wrapped the building, and Eric Robinson handed the Stanley Cup to Guy Gaudreau, the man who taught those boys to skate, the guy who lost both his sons. He lifted it over his head. Robinson said bringing it there meant taking it somewhere that means something to him. And he called handing it to Coach Guy one of the sweetest moments ever. So I don't have anything to add to that. I just wanted to share how special that is. So I made this video specifically because here's where I land after all that. The engraving thing was real, and it was disappointing. And I know it was disappointing to many of us. And I understand why it stung. It stung because it's the opposite of what we believe in this organization and what we think this organization is. But that little tidbit that got so much social media play about an engraving decision that was made by one man, this summer was 50 other decisions made one at a time by people who actually won the thing. And every single one of them, given one day and total freedom to take the cup anywhere, chose to bring it to Children's Hospital, cancer clinics, hometown rink, a grieving father, right? The top of the cup says the Dundon name, what, 7 times? Fine. But the story of this cup is Jordan Staal taking it where he took it. It's Jarvis saying he can make sick kids' day. It's Guy Goodrow holding the Stanley Cup over his head at the rink name for his sons, right? Because the Hurricanes players knew exactly where this cup needed to go, and I am so super proud of them. So nobody's gonna read that engraving thing. That story's gonna fade, but these stories for those people who experienced the cup and what our guys did for them, that's gonna live on forever. And those stories are ours, and that's what makes this franchise great. So wanted to share that today. Go Canes.